Hey everybody, today we are going to cover product events in the Freshworks developer platform. Generally, events occur when something happens, and when products generate these events, they're called the product events. As you might already know, Freshworks has a range of products, which is also powered by the Freshworks developer platform. And when users interact with these products, or when messages are passed between apps or products, events are generated. For example, lead creation, ticket updation, chat conversation, a new hire, etc. are some of the events generated by the products like Fresh Sales, Freshdesk, Fresh Chat, Fresh Team, and so on. You can find the complete set of events and their payload in the Freshworks app documentation. A very simple example of event generation is as follows. Now imagine a customer creating a support ticket. Once it is created, we might need to do something or some action based on that. Now for this to happen, we typically need an app. To be specific, a serverless app. This app would listen to the event and execute a logic based on the said event. In this approach, you can write efficient, event-driven apps that facilitate some sort of automation or integration or some logic on top of the standard ticket creation. Since you're building on top of the Freshworks developer platform, you can also leverage other platform features to build complex apps for complex use cases. Alright, we had enough theory. Let's start coding. In this coding exercise, we'll make use of the product events. To be specific, the Freshdesk product event, the on-ticket creation, to listen for the ticket creation, and once we have a new ticket created, we will send the subject of the ticket in SMS to the agent or whoever is subscribed. So we will make use of the invoked platform to set up the SMS automation workflow, and we will also leverage the Freshdesk product events using the serverless app that we will create to set this up. So the prerequisites are very simple. You need to have the FTK, the title, Freshdesk account, basic JavaScript and JSON knowledge, and you also need an IFT account. So if not, you have to create one. And we will make use of FTK to create a sample boilerplate app, which is a serverless app boilerplate. And we will make use of the said product event, in this case on ticket create. We will make use of iparams and request API to invoke the IFT maker service. So it's basically a URL which we can call from our application upon new ticket creation, and it'll also send the ticket details in the payload to the service, and that will in turn send the SMS. Alright, we are back in coding mode. Now let's open the terminal and create a sample Freshdesk serverless app boilerplate. I'm just going to use the FTK create command to create the app and your first serverless app, and here we go. Now we have a sample serverless app boilerplate which we can use to build on top of that. And as you can see here, it's just a sample app which has only one event on ticket create, and there is a listener for it, or the on ticket create handler. And at the moment, the logic inside the handler is very simple. You just throw a console log of whatever the requester name is. So let's just quickly test it using FTK. If I run FTK run, I will have two URLs. I can test it using the custom iparams, and I can also simulate the product events. So now this is important because we can actually pick any of the product events for the product that we are trying to develop the app for, and we can simulate the event. So if I click on the on ticket create, it shows the mock payload, and this payload is the same payload that corresponds to the payload that we see in the production version of the application as well. So this you might have seen in the previous videos as well, and if I simulate, it's going to print the name of the requester here. Of course, we are running in local, and if we look into the payload, we have the requester name as Rachel. So what I'm interested is in the subject. So let me quickly grab the subject from the payload. So that would be data.ticket.subject. So I just need to change this. So why am I interested in this subject? It's because I am going to use the subject, the title of the ticket, and I'm going to send this as an SMS to the agent. So just a very simple change here. If I go back and then let me change this, and if I hit simulate, I should be able to see this. Everything is good. Now that we have a very simple serverless app and a simple on ticket create handler, this is more or less equal to listening to the ticket creation event that is in the that is done in the Freshdesk product. So whenever some user creates a ticket, our app is going to listen for that, and based on the information inside the ticket, we are going to do something. So at the moment we are just printing the subject of the ticket, so nothing big, but now we are going to do something interesting. So we are going to make use of invoked. So invoked is a web service which just a second, yeah. So invoked is a really great web service that lets you create your own workflows. So basically you can say that, hey, if something happens, if this happens, then do that. So it's very simple, it's a very straightforward service that I like, and this is my most favorite. So the webhook service. So the webhook service, is going to give us a URL, so which can be invoked from our application. It requires the event name, so I'm going to give the name as ticket created. So we need to invoke the webhook URL with this event name, and so now we have configured the then part of the invoked, and it's time to provide that part. Okay, now we need to choose a service, or basically the resultant, the action that needs to be taken if something happens. So I'm going to send an SMS. I just picked send an SMS service, and I'm going to provide my phone number. This is very simple, guys. So this is also just for demonstrating the event-driven nature of the product events. Let me just give some message here. Hey, you got a new ticket, and we will. So now we need to provide the subject of the ticket in the SMS, and at this moment we don't have it here, but if you look here, we have the ingredient, which means if I click here, it will give few parameters which we don't know yet, but these are the parameters which the webhook URL will receive, and that can be passed in the SMS as well. So that is cool. Now, and I will show how we can configure this. So at the moment, we'll just pick the value 1. We'll assume that value 1 is the subject of the ticket that we will pass to this invoked service. I'm creating this action. Once it's done, here we have. So it's a very simple rule. If a ticket is created, which means if we hit the maker URL, so you'll see how the maker works and what the maker is. It'll just send an SMS. So I'm going to give finish, and boom, we have a new connection. Now let's go back to the maker. So maker is an interesting component in invoked that lets you create webhook URLs, and yep, this is the maker simulator. This is very similar to our FTK product event simulator, and all we need to give is, and as you see here, this is a ticket key, and we need to provide this in the request API options and headers. So you'll see how that works. So at the moment, we just see how we can simulate it. So I'm just going to give the event name, just ticket created, and the value I will just say my puppy went missing. Oops. Going to test it. Okay, got an SMS. Now I'm going to use request API and then make a call. So as you can see here, there is already a curl representation. I'm just going to make a call to this API with this event and with this value, which is basically ticket subject, and then I'm going to automate this. And yeah, now let's start coding. Okay, now let's use request API and send the subject. What I will also be needing is 2 iparams. So let's create them using FTK generate. So this is basically to store the key, API key, and also the event name. So it will be if API key. Actually, it is the maker API key, so I will just make it specific. API, it will be a text. So also create another name text. Nope. Yes. Cool. So we have 2 iparams here. Sorry, not this or here, and we can make use of them. So I will just mark the API as secure. So let's go back to our app. Let me copy the maker URL. It's the entire thing that needs to be copied. Just copied it. I'll just paste this here. I'll just use templating to substitute the event name and the key. So the event name has to be substituted with, just copy this key, this thing. Just remove the encode not required. It's the key. Let's remove it. Now we have the, let me overwrap this. Now we have the event name and the API key, and let's pass the, we don't need the authorization in the, now here we just set the content type to application/JSON, and for the body we will stringify. We will just copy. Okay, we just need to pass value 1, value 2, value 3 are not required. So this will be sub. Now as you can see here, we are using setting headers to just the content type header, application JSON. We are passing the options with the headers, and the body is, value 1. It's a JSON object with value 1 as a property, which contains the subject of the ticket. That's what the if web service expects as well. And we have substituted the event name and the maker API key using the templating technique that we used. So we're just going to make use of the $request API to make a call. Now let's do FTK run, and you can also see the phone screen nearby. Let me simulate. You want to create event. I'm going to say okay, should be good. Now let's check this. Should be able to see my screen as well. Now let's check this. You should see a message. Let's see what happened. Oops. 404. Cannot post trigger with key. Okay. We did some mistake here. It's because we didn't have the hyperarms specified yet. So let's specify the hyperarms and then simulate the event. So let's copy the key. Now don't forget to specify the key, and the event name is ticket created, so it will be ticket created. Let me save it. All right, it's saved. Now let's close the simulator. Okay, now let's try again. And I'm going to make use of, now you'll be able to see my screen, phone screen parallelly. It has the same subject. Now I'm going to do a simulate, and this should trigger an SMS. And here we go, we have the SMS. So our app works. Now we need to get this to the production. Let's see how to do that. Ticket create, ticket fac. I just need to upload this to the portal. Which I can do from here. Log in from my developer portal. This is my Freshdesk account. Custom apps. We just turn off everything, and then I just go to the portal. Now let's check back after a few minutes, and once it appears in our app listing, we can install the app using the app key and the event name, and once it's done, we should have our app running with the product events. Now I'm going to create a new ticket, and as you can see, my phone screen is being recorded parallelly. So I'm creating a new ticket. You should be able to see this. I'm creating a new ticket, and the ticket is created. If you see my screen, you have a message. Great. Let's create a new ticket. Let's create it. And here we get, okay, the reason is I'm just sending SMS from my own number, so you just see to who message is there. But yeah, so it creates, should get message. Cool. To our code. Yeah, in this video we saw what product events are, we saw how to use them, and we created a very simple application using if and product events and serverless apps to just send a message whenever a new ticket is created. So there are many use cases for product events. I hope you'll be able to make use of that accordingly, and let me know if it was useful. So yep, thanks guys. Please do share your thoughts and feedback. See you.